Hey, welcome back, folks. Thank you for joining me again. And don't forget to hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, and subscribe. Today, I wanna rant a little bit because we talk a good game as a people, and we're always complaining and pointing out issues and all of that good stuff, which is great having that conversation. But when it comes to action, we are lacking. I've sit down and talk to people about this business, that business, and people agree. But when it comes time to move on those actions, then you revert back to the old, I don't know. It gets to a point where it becomes very, what's the word, annoying, right? And if we don't start taking action, which a lot of us are doing now, I gotta give credit to the fact that if you pay attention, you'll see a lot of changes in the black community. People are getting together and they are creating, right? There's a lot. You won't see it, right? But I'm contradicting myself a little bit because I'm saying we need to take actions, but I gotta say that some people are. Maybe it's just my circle. Maybe I want to talk about my circle. Maybe that's it. But for instance, I have suggested black run and owned social media sites, right? They may be running on networks that are not black owned, but for now, maybe that's what you have to do. Run your own social network on somebody else's network until you're built up enough where you can build your own. But my main beef is I will direct people to these black owned, black run and sites where there are black people having discussions, and people, I think, will go on and click and probably say, this doesn't look like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and they'll just and walk away. But if you don't help to build it, who the hell do you expect to do it? If you don't subscribe to, if you can't find the time to subscribe to something that you've been advocating for, right? Who are you waiting for to help build those social media sites, right? Like for instance, there's this Blacksby, spelled BLAQSBI, Blacksby social site, right? It's black owned, black run, right? It deals with black issues, but so far I don't think anyone that I've sent my link to signed up, right? You're over there on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being on those things, but if you don't come over and support the black run stuff, then what are you complaining about? Who do you expect to support it? Right? Facebook, got support by their own community. Think about it. I mean, if I were a government agency, right, that needs information legally, right, why wouldn't I invest in a place like Facebook where people tell you everything about themselves, right? People tell you everything about themselves. You can collect that data free of charge. Why would you spend money like you used to? Why not invest in Facebook? Why not invest in WhatsApp? So all I'm saying is those people probably won't invest in black run sites, right? So it's up to you. It's up to you, the people, to put the numbers on those sites. Put the numbers on those sites so they can grow. And if you don't do that, then you have to stop complaining. Right? You have to stop going on these sites and expecting them to be like those other sites. The Bible says, don't covet thy neighbor. Practice what you preach. You know, why are you coveting other people's site? Grow your own. Right? I see another example is Tidal. Right? Tidal. I mean, black people throw all kind of shades at Jay-Z. All sorts of criticism because other people tell them a whole bunch of stuff. So they throw all kind of shades against Jay-Z when it comes to Tidal. I mean, what sort of madness is this? Everybody complained about when back in the day it was the record companies that were owned by other and were ripping people off. They had monopoly on the upper the distribution side of the record companies. They had monopoly on that, right? You complained, but till today, the distribution is controlled by other, right? And now the system has changed where now it's streaming service, and now you have a person like Jay-Z with his own streaming service. And if you check the amount of criticism he gets from black people, you would think he committed some kind of crime against black people. I mean, this stuff doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're all promoting Apple and Spotify, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with being with other subscription services, but why wouldn't you be supporting Tidal? I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that people complaining about ownership and all that stuff, and then when it's time to show your hand, it's like you allow other people to influence your decision making, right? You don't see that sometimes a black owned or black run company is starting off at a disadvantage, right? They're starting out with a disadvantage, and it's up to you, the people, to support them. And over time, you support, you give feedback, right? You give them feedback on what you think about how they can improve. Can't just expect them to start and be the best at everything, right? You support them, you give them feedback, and you allow them to grow over time. It's like a black business starts, and then people start comparing them to multi-billion corporation who's been in business for decades. For example, another example, I mean, I could go on and on, but I'll give one more example, is the big baller brand, LeVar Ball. The LeVar, the big baller, right? Look him up. This guy is a genius. I love the guy. You know, I haven't bought any of the products yet, but I support him 100%. I will buy some products. But I brought him up because he's a perfect example of black people gone nuts. The man promotes his sons, right? I mean, Umar wouldn't approve of certain aspect of his life, and if you follow Umar, you know what I'm talking about. But the man has a family, a wife, 3 sons, 3 NBA caliber sons that he groomed and supported 100%. And people are out there talking about the man is not a good father. I mean, the level, and it's black people, the level of craziness that's mind-boggling. I mean, if you follow the guy, it's hard to understand why people criticize the man just because he's got a loud mouth, he's confident, and he promotes his son no matter what. The media, for example, guys like Stephen A. Smith, they know how the guy is when it comes to his son, right? But yet they keep on pressing him about, you know, questions about his sons when they know what he's gonna say, right? And then they sensationalize it and then make it look like the guy's talking crazy when they know what he's gonna say, but then they ask him the question anyway. And the guy, it's not like he's a dumb person. He understands the game of basketball more than some of these guys, right? And this man came in 5 years ago. Nobody knew anything about him, and he came in, and I would say he had an impact on the NCAA, the NBA, G League, changing their system. Not saying he's responsible for all of it, but he had an impact on it. And that's another angle that I want to discuss, is the fact that he started his own basketball league. And he created a basketball league, started his own basketball league, and instead of people supporting it, right? Instead of they supporting it, they you go online and the amount of criticism, it's crazy. And you find that a lot of it's coming from black people. And I mean, I understand that some of the other people will throw on a black face and then come and pretend to be black and join the criticism, but I know a lot of them are actual black people who have no vision, right? To think this whole thing of LeVar Ball is not a future strategy is to be, I don't know, to be an egghead, I guess. The man's trying to build a legacy here. Came in, changed the game, controlled the game in his way. Right? And instead of you all going to the JBA, the basketball, junior basketball league, and supporting it, right? Because think about it. There were 64 guys who got a chance to showcase their talent. That could be any one of your sons. 64 guys who get a chance to showcase their talent. He brought them overseas with the JBA USA. Those are guys who got exposed, and they played against grown men. Those are the kind of things that you need to support, right? And the fact that he didn't get the support, it's troubling, because every day you hear people talk about black people need to work together, and we gotta support each other, and I see it happening, but I wish it would happen more in cases like the ones that I'm discussing. The history was made with the way LaMelo went to Australia. History was made. He changed the game. That's a huge story. Right? History was made when Lonzo Ball came into the league with his own shoe, right? That's historic. And people went nuts comparing the Big Baller brand to Nike, and I mean, does that even make sense? I mean, regardless of how expensive the shoes were priced, you don't have to agree with the price of the shoes, but that was his strategy. If you can't afford the shoe, don't buy the shoe. And I love how they took his words about, if you're not a big baller, don't buy the shoe, and they twisted it to talk about how he can't expect black people to buy their shoes, or black people are poor. I mean, the man is saying, if you can afford the shoe, buy the shoe. If you can't afford the shoe, buy something else, or just support him, or just don't say anything. Right? I mean, if you can't afford to buy the shoe, don't buy the shoe. 10, 15 years ago, right? 20 years ago, Nike was still over $100, some of them were $200. So I mean, $500 now, right? Back then, paying $200 for a pair of shoes was like paying $500 now. Right? So, I mean, sometimes I just don't get us. But I love us, and I see changes. And I also see that the information about those changes are being suppressed. Right? And I see the rich guys, like the prominent black folks, I see them working together, because now there's news out there that the Ball family is now signing with Roc Nation, which is Jay-Z's sports business, which is excellent. And I hope that that works out. But stop comparing brand new black businesses to businesses that have been around for decades and are billions of dollar businesses. Give them a chance by supporting them, critiquing them if you have to, challenging them if you have to, but throw your support behind them so they can grow. Practice what you preach. If you want to see success in black businesses, start throwing your support behind them. Stop comparing us to other people. Other people don't go through what we go through, right? Other people will get support from their community and the other communities, if you know what I mean. We're the ones who are by ourselves. We're on our own. The quicker you get that in your head, the quicker we will turn this thing around. We are on our own. We have to work with other people, yes, but the quicker we understand that those other people are working with us, not out of love or like for us, out of necessity. We have what they want, so they work with us. So the quicker we understand that, the quicker we will turn it around. So understand this. We are on our own. So act like it. Support each other. And continue to grow. Peace. Unity or else.